Gentlemen, welcome to the Be the Man podcast. I'm your host, Greg Denning. I just dropped my daughter off at beach volleyball practice. So I thought, I'll walk and talk. Walk down the beach, walk through the marina, and just share some thoughts I've been chewing on lately. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being the caliber man who cares and who wants to level up and do the right thing, to be the man. We had so inside the Be the Man Masterclass and Tribe, we meet every week live in a live training. We had one today, and man, it was a powerful and really special discussion. They asked some solid questions about marriage, and marriage is tough. It's hard to live with another human being, and somebody of the opposite sex, and different background, different life, different philosophies, different identity, different past, different mindsets, different emotions, different thoughts and beliefs. It's challenging. We had some awesome comments and inspiration, and man, it was really special. Anyways, we do that every week, and we come away better men with specific tools and strategies to level up. So anyways, I just want to praise you and honor you for your efforts to be a great man, and particularly a great family man. Family is just being dismissed, disregarded, neglected, mocked, torn apart. It's unbelievable what's happening, and as much as we get out and travel and get all over the globe and all over the world, I get to see this so much and see what's happening, and you're seeing it too. And so, that's part of what we're going to talk about today. We can't just sit back and watch. We have to be deliberate and intentional about doing something about it. You've all heard it, and you've heard it so much it's almost become cliche, but it's still so profoundly true. And I'm always thinking about it, like, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. So let's just deep dive into that. Like, the only thing necessary for atrophy is to do nothing. The only thing necessary for weeds to grow is for you to do nothing. The only thing necessary for stupid messages and stupid trends and stupid stuff to happen is that intelligent men and good men just do nothing, say nothing, just keep quiet. That's it. Like, the only thing that has to happen for the world to get worse is that really good people just stay quiet. Just take it easy. Just mind your own business, right? That think through that. That is so challenging, because all you have to do to let the world fall apart is just mind your own business. Now, obviously, there's this tremendous power in being a good man and raising good kids and having a rock solid family. That right there does so much good to improve the world, because you're adding that energy and that power and that goodness, and you're raising a good family. So hands down, the best thing we can do, the best thing we can do for the world is to make the most of ourselves. The next best thing is to make the most of our families, really help our families thrive, right? Which is crazy powerful in and of itself. But then many of us, if not all of us, have a moral obligation. Oh my gosh, you guys hear that? This guy took like a lawnmower engine maybe, or a weed whacker, and put it on a bicycle, and he's just bombing down the beach. That is so awesome. That's amazing. Hey, innovation right there, brother. Innovation and creativity. But we can't just keep to ourselves. And man, we want to. And that's my message today. This is what's been on my mind so much. It's like, man, can I just do my own thing? Can I just find my own happiness, my own success, and can I just enjoy my quiet, private life And man, I want that, and you want that, and there has to be part of that. But then there's this other part that we have a moral obligation, a responsibility to stand up and speak out and do our part, because if we don't, by default, things get worse. One instance is that bad people will do bad things, and the only way some bad dudes will ever stop is if good guys stop them. Let that sink in. The only reason some bad people will ever stop is if they are forced to stop by good men stopping them. That right there is enough to compel me, and hopefully you, to do something about it. Now, I had a new perspective on the parable of the talents from the Bible, and man, it's so insightful, right? So there was the one gentleman received 5 talents, the other 3, and the last guy received 1. And the guy with 5 and the guy with 3, they went out, they worked, they invested, and they got a return. Or was it 2? Anyways, it doesn't matter. The guy with 1 buried it. He took it and buried it. So when the master came back and said, "Hey, what'd you do with my stuff?" The first 2 said, "Hey, we took it, we invested, we worked with it, and we got a return. Like, here it is." And the last guy's like, "Oh, I took it and I buried it, and I kept it safe for you. Here it is, right?" And think about that. If somebody trusts you with something, you take it, you bury it, you protect it, you keep it safe, and then when they come back, you're like, "Hey, here it is. I kept it safe." You'd think, all right, that's pretty good, right? But he was playing safe. And in essence, we want to play safe, right? We don't want to take unnecessary risks. We want to play it safe. We want to do our thing and just do our thing. Not risk anything, not stick our necks out there. And we want to play it safe. But that's when he came back, and the master just totally reproved him. Totally reprimanded him. Like a scathing rebuke for playing small, for playing safe. All right, here comes the weed whacker man is coming back on his bike. Wish you could see this. Oh man, if you could only see what I'm seeing. That's so awesome. So funny. By the way, we're living in Portugal now. This has been a dream for us for a long time to come back and live in Europe. We loved it over here, and we picked this specific area because we wanted to have just the ultimate playful life, where we could, of course, do our work and chances to serve and do good. But as a family, we had every opportunity for playful learning and growth, classes and courses, and every opportunity. And so we're here. We're here living the next chapter of our dream with our family, and it is so rewarding and so fulfilling and so exciting. So I'm just looking out at the Atlantic right now, and this beautiful white sand as the sun sets. Oh man, it's awesome. Life is so good. By the way, I don't know if I've announced this on here. I'm going to take a little pause here. We are leading a trip to Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro's been on my life list for several years, and it's finally happening. So we are leading. It's January of 2024. No, sorry, February 10th. I'm leading a group of men, and I'm bringing a couple of my teens. So some of the men are coming and bringing their older youth, and some are bringing their wives. And we're going to do a 3-day safari afterwards, and it's the perfect time of year because the animals are out and moving. So if this is something you're up to and you want to go after that challenge and tackle a huge, iconic mountain and do something just off the charts, come join us. Come climb Kilimanjaro. Come join us on the safari. And then we're leading a trip back to Mongolia. It's one of my favorite places on the planet. One of the most unique and epic countries I've ever been to. And we're going to go back there and ride camels and horses across the Mongol ponies and head back. Just so stoked for that. That's summer of 2024. So anyway, side note there. So let's get back to this. So when my son and I were designing the logo for the Be the Man Masterclass, after 25 years of voracious study of human peak performance and peak performance as men, just really getting dialed into what is it that matters, what is it that's non-negotiable, came up with those 9 things, and they broke down into 3, so it's the triple trifecta, 3 things in each one. And when I found this ancient symbol that just fit perfectly for it, I thought, yeah, that is it. That's the symbol. And my son was doing some graphic design, and man, there's noise everywhere, brother. I hope it's even audible out here with all these birds and the wind, all this awesomeness. So my son looked at it and he flipped it upside down. He's like, Dad, it looks like a shield. I was like, oh, that's perfect. It's perfect. The triple trifecta is a shield. And I said, let's take a sword and put a sword with it. So the sword and the shield. And today I want to talk about the sword and what the sword means. And immediately to me, the sword is this representation of our responsibility to use it to defend ourselves, to defend our families, and to defend others. It's also a symbol to defend truth, which interestingly, I mean, in one aspect, right, truth can stand on its own, and it does. But what's happening is it's being attacked, it's being misconstrued, it's being lied about, it's being twisted and distorted, which the word for that is so cool. It's to wrest, W-R-E-S-T. It means to twist and distort something. So it's being wrested. And so we have to defend truth. But it also, for me, the sword is a symbol to, we have to defend virtue. And virtue is a big, powerful word. The Stoics used it, and it's come to mean a lot of different things, and I like all the meanings. And I think virtue is something that absolutely must be defended because it's right and it's good, but also because it holds society. All you got to do is study history and realize that virtue has to be defended, or else society gets into a lot of trouble. And so the sword is that symbol. But, well, okay, here's something seriously cool we learned when we were we spent the winter up in Scandinavia, and we were learning a lot about the Vikings and Viking history. And in one of the museums, there was hundreds and hundreds of years ago that the only men that carried swords were landowners. It was just in this one area. It said that carrying a sword was a symbol of power, that you were a landowner, that you were a free man. And so, man, when I read that, I was like, yes! Oh, I love that. The sword is a symbol of freedom, that you're a free man, that you can defend yourself, you can protect yourself, you can fight for freedom, that you can be sovereign. And so with that freedom, with that moral responsibility, with the obligation we have, with the power that you have, and the sword's there. And I think, I don't know, in some ways I think we're all born with a sword, and we just gotta pick it up and use it. And then in other ways I think, nah, you're not born with it, you gotta earn it. You gotta pick it, you gotta go get it, you gotta forge it maybe, or buy it or something. You gotta earn that thing, and then you have to learn how to use it, and how to wield it, and how to make it work for you. And some will take that power and use it maliciously, and they'll do things that are harmful to others, and they'll even be self-destructive. But today, this message today, as I'm just walking and talking here, it's to use that sword for real power, brother, to do real good in the world. And to pick up your dadgum sword. So inside the masterclass, one of the very first trainings is to pick up your sword. Pick up your sword. You got to pick up that shield, which is the triple trifecta. Pick up your sword. And be not only in a defensive, but also offensive, where you can parry attacks, but you could attack as well. And go after evil and malice and terrible things. And put it out there. So it's moving beyond that playing it safe and just keeping to yourself and living your quiet good life and thinking, can't I just be left alone? And I get it, man. I get it. So I feel that too. I want that so much. But I can't. I know that God has given me some power and some blessings. And because He's given those to me, I have to share. I have to help. Because I've learned things and experienced things that have given me some leverage, I have to share the leverage. I have to. And I felt like this since I was a teen. Anytime someone helped me, I felt, okay, I have a responsibility to help others now, to pass it forward, right? You've heard that, pay it forward and pass it along. But then you go and you level up. So, brother, if you have money, you have a moral responsibility to use your wealth and your affluence to do good. If you have knowledge, you got to share it. If you have skills, you got to use those to make the world a better place. If you have resources, skills, abilities, or what I like to call skillities, whatever you've got in your tool bag, you got to use that stuff. And one of those things is that sword. And that's going to require you and me to say things that are hard to say and hard for others to hear. And it's going to require that we speak up when we'd rather be quiet. And it's going to require that we stand up when we'd rather sit down. And that it's going to put us into very awkward and uncomfortable situations. And I guarantee some people will not like it. And they won't like you because you do it. But if you look at every great leader, especially the ones that fought for the right thing, oh man, they had enemies. They had people that absolutely hated and despised them for what they said and what they did and even who they were and what they stood for and represented. And that's the same for you, brother. You got to pick up that sword like a free man, and you got to wield it, and you got to use it to defend truth and virtue and goodness and people who cannot defend themselves. You have to. You must. You can't not. To me, it's not. It's one of those non-negotiables. I can't play it safe. I can't take the talent and just bury it and be like, oh, I'll just keep this safe here. It's good. Because it's not benefiting anyone. And yeah, if you take it out and you use it, it is risky. There is risk there. And there's some discomfort there. And it's not always going to be like you want and like you hope. It's not going to be peaceful and easy and comfortable. But then again, when is the great life ever truly comfortable and convenient and easy? It's not. So one of the questions that I want to invite you to consider is what specifically are you actively doing to make a difference? To use the sword. And like, I know some of you are like, well, man, can't I use like a Nerf sword so I don't actually like hurt anybody's feelings, or I don't have to like, it's not a real fight. Can't we like kind of play fight? What if I just say some kind of nice things and I don't really, throw down? And yeah, we can do that. But honestly, aren't you playing small if you do that? Isn't that below your true capacity? What are you going to stand for? And this is legacy stuff, man. And this is lifelong stuff. This is the stuff that on your deathbed, you're going to look back and you're going to think about and you're going to ask yourself about, and you're either going to be grateful you did or you're going to have some deep remorse that you didn't. So what is it, man? And you don't have to stand up for everything. You don't have to fight for everything. You got to pick your battles. But what battle are you going to pick, man? What are you going to fight for? And so many guys are wasting their energy. Well, they're fighting for stupid things. Maybe they have the sword out, or they're just wasting their energy on ridiculous stuff. Things that make very little difference. They just really don't matter. They're getting caught up in all these debates and all this garbage and whatever, on and on and on. And it doesn't really make a difference. It's, in my observation, there's extremely few men who have their swords out and their shields out and are fighting for things that truly matter. And I want you to be one of those men. I hope you want to be one of those men, even though in a sense you don't want it, right? Because like who wants to get in that uncomfortable fight? But we have to. So what will you fight for? What important moral issue will you fight for? What problem just makes you angry? What issue, what crime, what thing is out there that, because there's a lot of them, and you might be like, yeah, that's terrible, and that's terrible, but then one of them's like, oh man, I cannot tolerate that for a moment. Do some soul searching, do some thinking, do some examining, find out what thing is there that you'd be willing to fight for, to get uncomfortable for, to put your money where your mouth is, to put all your resources where your mouth is, and step out of your comfort zone and lean into this fight. What is it? What is it for you? And it can be ignorance, poverty. It can be fighting things like pornography, drugs, especially human trafficking, child abuse at all, domestic violence. What's your thing? Maybe it's freedom and government and laws. What is it? What is it that strikes you and makes you think, yeah, I gotta level up. I gotta get my skills. I gotta sharpen my saw, or my sword rather, and the saw. You gotta get sharp so that you can be an effective instrument in the fight for good and right and truth and freedom. What is it? What's that thing? So pick your thing, or one thing, or maybe just pick one and start going down that road. Clarity, I've found, in working with just thousands of men across 5 continents, clarity comes on the move. So you choose something, you start taking action, and then you get some clarity. And often you get clarity that, like, yeah, that's not the right thing. You start moving in a direction, then that's when you get the clarity of like, nope, this wasn't it. I thought it was it, but that's not it. And that's great, because you took action and you got clarity. So pick something, brother. Pick something. Start honing your skills, sharpening that sword, and don't be one of those guys that's like ready, aim, ready, aim, ready, aim, and never, fires. You got to sharpen your saw. You got to get better. You got to get some skills, some knowledge, some understanding. But take action. Start wherever you are, and get after it. Start doing something. And if just a few of us, even in the beginning, pick up our swords and shields, start fighting openly, and do it tactfully, right? So, sometimes we start fighting for something and we do it, we're so abrasive or so tactless. We lack diplomacy and skill and understanding, so it's just such a blunder. it turns people away from the cause when it would draw them towards us. So seek to do it well. Don't be like the bull in the china shop is wrecking everything. Be effective. Be super effective. But pick something. In fact, message me. I would love to hear. You can connect me on Facebook or Instagram. It's greg.denning on Instagram and Gregory Denning on Facebook. Or shoot me an email, greg@gregdenning. Tell me what it is. What do you get fired up about? What's your thing? What are you going to fight for? I would love to hear. I'd love to know where this small army of good men are fighting for. And if we'll just do it. And we don't have to, our lives are full of a lot of good things. First and foremost, caring for our own mind, body, and spirit. And then for our marriage and our parenting, our family legacy, and our home finances. We have a lot to look over. But that does not excuse us from contributing in important ways to the betterment of this world. And so it won't be full time. It won't be all the time. It won't be massive portion of your time and resources. But it does have to be a part of it. I wholeheartedly believe this is part of being a whole man and a full man. So pick something, start moving, get some clarity. Find out who's doing what, who's doing it effectively, who you might align yourself with. See if you can join a cause that's already going. And some of you, it'll be rare, I think, but some of you might say, man, nobody's picked up this cause yet, and you start it. You pick it up. You get the ball rolling. You create the movement. But for many instances, there's already something going. There's already movement, and you can join it. You don't have to reinvent it all. But anyways, just some important things here, brother, for you and I to think about. And don't excuse it. Don't dismiss it. Don't push it off and procrastinate and think, I'll get back to that. Really let it sink into your soul and make a decision at a soul level that you're going to somehow contribute in a good way, that you're going to give back, that you're going to make the world a better place because you were here. And let's do it, man. Ugh. Thanks for listening. Thanks for caring. Thanks for considering this. Thank you in advance for the good you're going to do and for being willing to endure the discomfort and the pain. The pain that's going to come from being willing to be a warrior, for pulling your sword out. And sometimes you don't have to, right? That best definition of meekness I've ever heard is having a sword and knowing how to use it, but leaving it sheathed, right? You leave it in the sheath. Sometimes you just have to have it on your side, and you don't have to draw it. Sometimes it's enough to have it, but you gotta have it. So you gotta strap it on. So what do you need to do? What do you personally, individually need to do to get your sword? And to strap it on, to make sure it's sharp, and to make sure you know how to use it, so that in the instance where you actually have to pull it out and use it, you can. But so much of it will be like, I've got it on, I know how to use it, and I will. But let's move this forward, and let's make the world a better place. Thanks for listening, brother. Thanks in advance for the work you're going to do. Be the man.